We are very honored to have you all here today. This is our official City Council meeting where we are planning to declare Tibet Day in Minneapolis, today, March 10th. My name is Alondra Cano, and I represent the Ninth Ward on our council. And what we'll do this morning is read the official resolution that we plan to approve today. And then we hope to have a few of your community members here share some words about the importance of this day for you, what this holds for your family, your culture, your language, your future. And I want to say that this is a beautiful start to a relationship that we hope will continue each year. So we hope to see you here next year again and to build up that legacy that your community has brought here to Minneapolis, to Minnesota, to stand for those messages of compassion and peace and unity that your leader, the Dalai Lama, has been so effective at communicating worldwide. So before I read the resolution, I'm going to see if Councilmember Andrew Johnson would like to share a few words.
I'm just very honored to be here today as part of this. I think it's an important day in Minneapolis, an important day for the Tibetan people. I know His Holiness speaks about the impermanent nature around us, and I hope that the occupation of Tibet is impermanent, and I hope that freedom returns for the Tibetan people and that the cultural genocide stops and that we can see a free Tibet. And I also want to thank you as well for all the messages of peace and compassion that is being taught by the Tibetan people who've carried that torch for millennia and have shared that gift with the world and helped countless individuals on their personal journeys as well. So thank you for being here.
So this is a resolution of the mayor and the city council declaring Tibet Day. Whereas on March 10th, 2017, Tibetans will gather in their host countries to commemorate the 58th anniversary of the Tibetan national uprising against the occupation of Tibet, and to honor the memories of 1.2 million Tibetans killed by the Chinese government. And whereas 145 Tibetans in Tibet have self-immolated to oppose China, while thousands remain missing or imprisoned for expressing their views or writing poetry or singing a song about the situation in Tibet. And whereas the world's largest Tibetan Buddhist academy, Larung Gar in Tibet, is facing wide-scale demolitions with its 10,000 residential monks and nuns being forcefully evicted. And whereas the ongoing atrocities carried out by the Chinese government against the Tibetans in their historic homeland must be of concern for all freedom-loving people, and we call on China to immediately enter into substantive dialogues with His Holiness the Dalai Lama to find a negotiated solution to protect the fundamental rights of all Tibetans. And whereas His Holiness the Dalai Lama is a greatly honored spiritual figure, revered, treasured, and loved throughout the world for his powerful teachings on nonviolence, tolerance, and forgiveness. And whereas the city of Minneapolis proclaimed March 2nd, 2014, His Holiness the Dalai Lama Day of Peace and Compassion to recognize the Dalai Lama as a true champion of world peace, interreligious harmony, and a beacon of love and compassion. And whereas the Minneapolis City Council affirms the determination of the Tibetan people in Tibet and in exile to retain their heritage and protect it from destruction against overwhelming odds through nonviolent and peaceful means. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Minneapolis City Council that March 10th, 2017, the 58th anniversary of the Tibetan national uprising shall be officially recognized as Tibet Day. Be it further resolved that the Minneapolis City Council hereby urges the government of China to respect Tibetan people's rights to self-determination, to safeguard their human rights and their pristine environment, and to immediately resume dialogues with His Holiness the Dalai Lama and the Central Tibetan Administration. Be it further resolved that the Minneapolis City Council stands in solidarity with Tibetans across North America and their Tibet Action Year, which is an initiative led within a just, peaceful, and nonviolent movement to remind the world of the occupation and ongoing suppression of human rights and freedom in Tibet and the continuous degradation of culture, religion, land, and identity of the Tibetan people by China. Thank you.
I'd really like to thank the City of Minneapolis, the City Council members. We have the President and an elder speaking, but I just wanted to quickly touch on a kind of a provocative, threatening letter that has come around. And I've been talking to people. Here in the City of Minneapolis, we talk about no preemption from the state. We talk about federal government not telling us how to do things. We damn straight don't want the Chinese government telling us how to run our city. So we will send China a strong message that we get complete support from the City Council to make March 10 a Tibet Day and keep it recurring every year. And that's the message to China. Thank you all, council members.
Madam Chairman, the members of the City Council, thank you for this opportunity to speak with you about our country, Tibet. My name is Tinley Wasa and been living in Minneapolis for 21 years with my wife and 3 children with extended families. Born in Tibet and came to USA as an immigrant in 1996 under Section 134 of Public Law 101 and 849, issuance of 1,000 visas to the displaced Tibetans and their spouses and children. Tibet, the land inhabited by the people still speaking the Tibetan language and attempting to follow their traditional culture, consists of what was formerly called 3 provinces of Tibet, Amdo, Kham, and Uza. The entire area is about 600,000 square miles, 2.5 million square kilometers, the size equal to Western Europe, and is composed of plateaus averaging some 11,800 feet, 3,650 meters above sea level, which is surrounded by the Himalayas, the Karakoram, the Kunlun, and the Atetak mountain ranges, and also is the source of all the major rivers in Asia. China claims historically Tibet was an inseparable part of China, but not true. Tibet was never been part of China till the People's Liberation Army invaded Tibet in 1949. Tibet exists an independent country with a recorded history dating back to 127 BC. Relations between the Tibetan people and the Chinese people have existed for well over 2,000 years. And Tibetans had a huge empire which developed during the 7th century under the reign of 33rd King Songtsen Gangbo and extended to the 40th King Tiralpa Chen. This empire extended north to China's Turkestan, westwards toward the Central Asia, and even into the China itself. In 763 AD, the Tibetan captured the then Chinese capital, Chang'an. Nowadays is called Xi'an. Thereafter, a peace treaty was concluded with China in 821 AD. And the inscription of the text, the treaty, exists in 3 places. One outside the Chinese Emperor's Gate, Chang'an, another before the main gate of Potala Palace, the capital of Tibet, Lhasa, and the third one on the Tibet-China border, Mount Meru. By the 10th century, the Tibetan Empire had collapsed following the assassination of 41st King Wudum Zembo for his persecution of Buddhists. The mighty Tibetan Empire disintegrated into small princedoms, and dark period fell over Tibet. During this period, Tibet's relation with its neighboring countries, including China, was minimal. However, the Mongols, who invaded many countries of Europe and Asia, also invaded Tibet in 1207, followed by China in 1280. This is the period when both Tibet and China were in the same political group, subjected to the Mongolian rule. However, the Tibetans were able to free from the Mongolian rule in 1254, when the Kublai Khan, granting Saja Lama Phagwa supreme authority over whole of Tibet. After that, the successive Tibetan ruler, first the Sakya Pass, then Pamutu Pass, Ribung Pass, Tebatsang Pass, and the Dalai Lamas ruled Tibet up to the occupation of Tibet by the Communist China, 1949. As a direct result of the Chinese occupation, 1.2 million Tibetans lost their lives. More than 6,000 monasteries have been destroyed. Thousands of Tibetans are still imprisoned without any fair trial. Tibet's natural resources and fragile ecology are being irreversibly destroyed. Tibetans were turned minority in their own country. Tibetans were denied any sort of human rights that is enshrined in the UN Human Rights Charter. Despite all this happened in Tibet, His Holiness the Dalai Lama and the Tibetan administration, always seeking peaceful resolution for the benefit of both the Tibetan people and the Chinese people, and propose a middle way approach in order to resolve question of Tibet within the framework of Constitution of People's Republic of China. As a result, 9 rounds of talks between the representatives of His Holiness the Dalai Lama and the Chinese government. After that, the Chinese government refused to continue talk with the Tibetan exiles. When not if Tibetans are free of Chinese government's operation, it will be you never wavered in standing with the people of Tibet and supporting His Holiness the Dalai Lama's vision for the future of Tibet. Our mission could not be more critical, and we urgently need the support of each and every one of you who believes that the dignity of every individual must be respected. We need you to stand with us today. Thank you.
Madam President, City Council member, good morning. Thank you for supporting this resolution on this historic day, March 10th, which meant so much for all the Tibetans living inside Tibet and outside Tibet. I profoundly thank and appreciate all the council members here who have supported this resolution. And I just wanted to say very brief on current situation and what His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Central Tibetan Administration demands from China. As you know, China always comes out with a false propaganda. They talks about His Holiness Dalai Lama wants a separation of Tibet from China's People's Republic of China. As Tilela stated, historically, Tibet was independent country. That is very clear on the record, and it's a fact. But since 1959, His Holiness came over to India as an exile, refugee, and still residing in Dharamsala, India. It is made very clear worldwide that His Holiness the Dalai Lama and the Central Tibetan Administration is asking for a genuine autonomy for the Tibetan people inhabited in all the Tibetan regions in Tibet, and wanted to resolve the Tibet's issue amicably through the dialogue. As Tilela stated, Chinese government and His Holiness representative had 9 rounds of talk, but right now it's hung up. So it is on this resolution, it is stated very clearly that resuming dialogue with His Holiness Dalai Lama is very important. It is very important for all the Tibetans living inside Tibet and outside. As you know, last 2 years in Tibet, Chinese government has been tightening, taking away basic human rights, religious right, destroying Larungar, which is the biggest Buddhist academy, and chasing out nuns and monks from the Buddhist academy. That is one of the very important topic right now, situation going on in Tibet, that we got support from the City Council, and I thank you for that. And I also thank all the contents on the resolution are something that we are requesting, and as Chinese come out with these false propaganda, and this shows that the world clearly knows what is the truth, and His Holiness and the Tibetan people are asking the truth and nothing but the truth, and standing up for the basic human rights and the truth by the City Council this morning on historic day is one of the greatest thing that is done in the state of Minnesota, and I thank you for that. Thank you so much.